This example comes out of chapter 4. It's an applied max-min problem. Technically, I suppose you could call it 4.5, but it also comes out of 4.4. So this question is a little bit different than some of the others we've seen. We've got a building that has 120 rental units in it, apartments, and when they're all occupied, the rent is $400 a month. So you could easily multiply 120 times 400 and see that you can make $48,000 a month if you do that. Now they find that for each unit that's vacant, there's a $10 increase in rent. Or in other words, if you increase the rent $10 to $410, you get one empty unit. If you increase it another $10, you get two empty units, etc. So the question is, if you own this building, what rent should you charge to get the maximum revenue? So this is a little different than some of our others because there's not really a diagram to draw here. You don't need to draw an apartment building. It's a lot like if you were in class. We did an apples yield question that was from one of the example sheets. But so our revenue here is definitely our objective. We're trying to get the most revenue if possible. Is equal to, the number of occupied units. Occupied units. Times multiplied by the rental, how much you get per unit, rental money per unit. So like I said, if you do nothing, you got 120 rental units times $400 a month. But the reality is we're not going to do nothing. We're going to try some different things. So let's define x as our variable. Let x equal the number of empty units, the number that we're going to leave unoccupied. So we have now 120 minus x units, whatever x happens to be. So that by itself would decrease our revenue, but every time we lower our number of units, we go up by $10, so plus 10x on the side of the rental per unit. Like I said, if you have one empty unit, you have 119 times 410. If you have two empty units, you have 118 times 420. So our revenue function, we can multiply that out and make it a little bit nicer. 120 times 400 is 48,000 plus 1200x minus 400x and then minus 10x squared. You can combine your like terms a little bit. Maybe you even like to change the order of that, but negative 10x squared plus 800x plus 4,800 is our, 48,000 is our revenue function. So if I find dr by dx, I should be able to find a maximum for this one. So negative 20x plus 800. If I let that equal 0, I should be able to solve what makes 800 equal to 20x if x equals 40. So what does that mean? It means if I let 40 units be empty, I'm going to have only 80 occupied units, but I'm going to be able to charge $800 a month rent for each of those units. I'm no landlord, so I don't know how realistic situation that is, but when it says so that's 40 units will be empty. The rent per unit is going to equal 400 plus 10 times 40, which is $800, because it did ask what rent should be charged. So $800 a month rent, and you'll have a lot of empty units, but you'll still make more money. And if you wanted to find the revenue, you could say, okay, well, I've got 80 occupied units times $800 is $64,000 revenue, which is significantly more than the 48,000 I said you'd have if you left it all full. So $800 is the answer to the question.